What's up? What's up? It's Adrian Jordan, Adrian. And we did say we was going to resume to try to do two more chapters before we actually stop for a break there. But we are back on Deliver Me from Evil. And I swear for goodness, Mary Monroe definitely been doing something with this one here. Because so far, it's like she's having her questions in her doubt because I really want to say that she probably think her husband might call the police or so, but if he reacting as he's nonchalant about it, I mean, can't be too sure about that. But we're gonna go ahead and proceed. Like most of the houses in this neighborhood in the southern part of Berkeley, the house that Wade shared with his mama was on a corner across the street from the liquor store. Winos and stray dogs patrolled the area more than cops. The outside of the old house was pretty grim. It had been painted in so long it was hard to tell the original color. The wraparound porch in the front porch of the house looked like it was slowly sinking into the ground. With another strong earthquake, it would. Cheap plastic curtains covered the window downstairs. But the motel that Wade took me to in his mama old car was even more depressing than the house we left behind. Fast food containers, empty beer cans, whiskey bottles, used condoms, and women underwear practically covered the ground that surrounded the cheap motel. Jason Mack, one of Wade's many shady friends who would do anything for money, was in the room sitting on the squeaky bed with a large pizza box on his lap. There was a battle shopping bag on the bed next to him. His rundown shoes sat on the floor next to his his long, sour smelling bare feet. So, did you make that call? He asked, looking at Wade. Wade had added Jason to the mix without my knowledge or consent. I couldn't do anything about that now. But just knowing that somebody, another man, Wade and me were in on this bogus kidnapping scam made me very nervous, especially somebody like Jason Mack. I didn't like Jason, and he knew it. For one thing, I didn't trust him. Who could trust or like a 33-year-old unemployed man who bragged about 5 children and had about 5 different women? He supported them all, which was a major surprise to me. But it was with the money that he made was burglar and any other shady way he could come up with. He even done time for robbing the Bank of America where my husband stored his money. But that was just one of the many crimes that he done time for. With a prison record as long as a mop handle, it is no wonder I didn't trust him. Jason and I associated with some of the same rough crowds back in the day, but we never was friends. We have both come a long way. At one time, he been one of the best looking black boys on the block with his golden brown skin and thick straight hair. His features were so delicate, and a lot of people thought that he was gay until he started getting women pregnant left and right. But his skin now looked like Stamper, covered with scabs, scars, sores, and mysterious walnut-sized nut on his lower jaw. He had a few of a dozen teeth left. All were at the bottom of his mouth except for one. I made a call, Wade said, looking around the room with one hand on his hip. The other hand was rubbing his nose. Man, this place is a dump, he exclaimed, glazing at me with a tortured look on his face. I didn't commit to the motel room. I didn't comment on the motel room because it didn't look any worse than Wade's bedroom. As a matter of fact, it was cleaner and more organized than Wade's room. And ever been during my visits. What did you expect for what? What did you expect for what you wanted to pay? Jason sneered, still ignoring me. And for a man about to come into a $500,000, you don't need to be so tight. Shit, after this Friday, we will be leaving like kings. The thick, beautiful black hair that used to cover Jason's head was a lot thinner now than he had more strands of gray hair than black. Wade gave me a quick glance. I didn't know what all Wade had told Jason. I just assumed that they were all on the same page. Apparently, Jason didn't know all of the facts, but he didn't know that $500,000 was on the table, and that disrupted me. The fact that Wade had been stupid enough to reveal that information to an ex-con like Jason was just one more reason why I had to break off my relationship with him once and for all as soon as I could. Wade and I have gone over our plan at least a half a dozen times. Wade was to get $50,000 for his role, and out of that he was supposed to break Jason off with $10,000. The rest was mine. Once Jesse Ray paid the ransom, I'll be returned to him unharmed. After a week or two, I'll still be traumatized, frightened, and depressed. So I would leave Jason Ray and eventually divorce him. With my share of the ransom money, I could move away from Berkeley. Hawaii seems like a good place for me to reinvent myself, and that's what I had told Wade. But I had other plans that I didn't plan on sharing with Wade or anybody else I knew. I was not going to go any place near Hawaii or any other place where I thought Wade would eventually come looking for me. I had never lived anywhere but California, and I didn't want to give up. I like Sacramento, and nobody would think of looking for me there, but I still didn't plan to take any chances. Once I made my move to Sacramento, I plan to change my hair and make a few changes to my appearance. By the time I got done with my makeover, my own mother wouldn't even recognize me. As far as mama and daddy were concerned, I planned to tell them the same story that I planned to tell Jesse Ray and everybody else. I was moving to Hawaii, and I even had a story ready for people who asked me how I could afford to move to Hawaii. And that story was I'll borrow money from a friend. It would be a friend that didn't exist, of course, so that one more lie I didn't have to worry about being exposed. It saddened me to know that my life had come to this. I have not been happy for years, and my marriage has become a joke. But J.C. Ray wasn't the only man I needed to remove from my life. My relationship with Wade was and have been a then-end situation for years. As much as I hated to admit, the sex was the main reason why I was still involved with Wade. Yes, it was that good. He could make me come just by rubbing the side of my arm. Wade interrupted my thoughts by snapping his fingers in my face. Take off that jacket, he told me, removing the baseball cap from my head and tossing it to the floor. I took off the sunglasses myself. Jason, get busy. Wade hollered over his shoulder. Do your thing, brother. I looked past Wade. Jason removed a grocery store brown paper